Yay Networks.
Welcome to Logically Irrational with my parents, Ty Strickland and Melissa Rycroft. He's a little logical.
Until I start gossiping.
And she's a little irrational.
You've got nothing.
But together, they make the perfect combo.
Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Logically Irrational.
We made it this week.
What a day so far.
I know.
What a day. I ran from Spirit Shop to Meals on Wheels to getting a call from Ava that there's a fire at her school and I must come get her right now. Everyone's gone. To find out a fire alarm went off because of an AC unit. There's no fire. But she's texting me going, Mom, it smells like smoke and there's lights going off everywhere.
She's so dramatic.
And I went,
so dramatic.
And I did tell her, I said, the email said there was no fire. And she just wrote, oh. Yeah. Okay.
I mean, exactly.
And then you started your day. You kind of like me. You were up at school.
Yeah.
Like a volunteering fool this morning.
Volunteering for Muffins for Moms. Mm-hmm. It was great. I was the photographer.
It's weird they're doing it now because they do it obviously for Mother's Day.
Yeah.
Which is not this weekend.
It's next weekend.
Right. You'd think they would do it
next week. Maybe
next Friday.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't have any idea. I just said I'd be there to help do whatever they needed.
Are you going to block his number who keeps asking you to do this stuff?
Yes. Because I was up at 5:30.
I know. Well, I saw pictures. You actually put the backdrop up?
No, I took it down.
Oh, the pictures made it look like you were putting it up.
No. I was taking it down.
I was like, well, you've learned well, wise one.
Right. No. They told me to pick things up and move them, and I moved them. I took a bunch of pictures for people.
Yeah, well, tell everybody what your job was.
I was the photographer. There was a backdrop.
Yep.
And I would take their phone, take pictures of them, say they looked great, and move on to the next one.
Did you do
and there
the
was
whole
like 400 ladies.
Take them from like the top to the like.
Oh, I did 3 for each one. Yeah. One normal, one slanted down.
I've trained you well.
And one up close.
But our good friend Caleb was there, and Brittany, who's one of my best friends, who I absolutely adore, he should have been the photographer, because if anybody is used to taking pictures over and over and over
it's
again,
him. Well, I mean, I'm pretty used to taking pictures.
I don't ever make you take pictures over.
Well, I'm usually taking pictures of you with somebody else,
and then they'll look and say, "Take it again."
Yeah,
There
were a lot of moms that would do that today.
Really?
Yeah. not as many as you would think, but there were definitely some that were, "Oh, I don't like that. Can you take it again?" Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Say, sure. Be happy to.
See, me and my friends have wised up, and events like this are not worth the hassle. Last year, actually, we all got together at one of our friends' houses, and like the dad went and got us donuts, and so all the moms and all the boys were together, and we had donuts. The boys gave us roses, and it was really awesome. And then the dad that lives right there, he walked all the boys to school. It was like perfect.
Yeah.
And we saw the hoopla going on at school going, I'm so glad I'm not there dealing with that.
There was a lot of people there. It was fun.
It is a fun thing.
Glad I don't have to do it every week, but it was fun.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So that's where we are, and we're here. Spring is finally winding down for us. Like competition, we have our last dance competition this weekend.
Not for the boys.
Well, I mean, the boys don't have too much longer.
Well, I mean,
there's only a couple days left. Like
all the way through June?
No, May.
Well,
baseball, but I mean, like come football and all that, it's ending pretty quick. Do you know that you're gonna have an 8-year-old in 17 days?
Yep, I am.
He's very happy to
13, 10, and 8.
13, 10, and 8. My baby, my caboose to my train is 8.
That seems crazy.
Oh my gosh, he reminds me daily. I'm going, that 8 is big.
God, he's so.
8's a big. He's something special.
Yeah,
Kason
he really is. He's such a handful. Such a handful.
You know, the woman that ends up with him one day, I will look at her and go, bless you.
Yeah,
Godspeed and good
he's
luck.
just so more like advanced than the other two. Like just stuff that he knows.
I wouldn't say advanced more than the other two. He's had no choice but to. He grew up in like.
Yeah, I don't mean like smarts wise or anything. I'm just talking about like what he knows, like the pop culture, like.
You and I were talking the other day that Kason, with his personality, is so lucky that his big brother is somebody like Beckett, who has Beckett's personality, right? Because Beckett is just laid back and chill. You said you took him to the Rangers game the other day, and you told them, I'm only getting one drink, Beckett said, "Oh, I want a Diet Coke," and Kaysen goes, "I want a Sprite," and Beckett goes, "Okay, we'll get a Sprite."
Yeah, all right, fine. Whatever.
Because that's what Beckett flipping does.
Yeah.
And Ava gets so mad at me that Beckett's my favorite. And I said, listen, I don't have a favorite, but you need to understand, Beckett makes my life the easiest.
Yeah,
Beckett makes things super easy.
He is the peacemaker.
Right.
Mostly.
And he lets Kaysen.
And so is Ava, but Ava will kind of egg him on a little bit sometimes,
Ava
which
loves
drives me
to
crazy.
see them fight.
Yeah,
Passive-aggressively loves to see them fight. Yeah. But she's a good one, too. I have no complaints. I have no complaints on Ava.
I agree.
And I don't have complaints on Kaysen, but...
I do. He doesn't listen. Crap.
I could make a list if you asked me to. But I love him. Anyway,
he's great.
So both our boys, their birthdays are within 3 weeks of each other. And April and May, and I know we talked about this last week, it's impossible to book parties. Like there's no way with sports, with all of that. So I do have their party planned, and our school gets out on a Thursday. So Friday, we have rented, there's a movie theater. We have an entire theater rented, and they're going to watch the movie If, which was requested by Kaysen.
Yeah.
And then it's also like an arcade. So for an hour after the game, they're going to play arcade games until moms come and pick them up.
Yeah.
So that'll be fun. Yeah. You
Agreed.
don't care.
No, I do.
But you're
care.
going to be there.
I'm going to be there.
Yeah, you're going to be there. And then I am 3 weeks away from this mother-kid trip that we're taking.
Yeah, I forget about that. When is that?
It's the last weekend of May.
Okay.
Where there's 20 moms and like 80-something children.
It's going to be crazy.
It's going to be chaos, but it's going to be fun. But on that note, last week, remember when we talked about like all the miles and how do we buy tickets? How do we
anybody
upgrade?
respond to that?
I had 2 responses, and they were basically what we said of you have to buy not the base economy. You cannot buy base economy. You have to buy kind of that middle, but you also have to be the one to call and upgrade. And you can once we buy
with that upgrade thing that I already have.
Yeah,
or to
you
pay
say I've
money
got.
or whatever?
Well, you have a
points.
special line that you can call because you're
fancy.
what Platinum Express, whatever it is.
Executive Platinum.
I have no idea. And then when you get dialed into that line, you say I've got these flights. I need.
Okay, and then will they help me, or do they like want to keep it secret how the best way to?
I don't think
upgrade?
they care.
They don't care.
No,
okay.
I don't think Joe.
I could see how like they don't want you finding the hack where you
No.
don't have to pay anything for a ticket.
I don't think those people sitting in the customer service are really like, I don't want anybody to succeed.
Well, no,
They're like, I don't care.
Well,
You're
right, but they
executive
may.
platinum.
But the call is being recorded, and if that
Sure.
happens too many times with them, they may get fired or something.
Listen, I think when you have as many points as you have, they want to make you happy. Case in point.
Hopefully.
Last weekend, at our dance competition in Allen, we stayed at a Marriott, which is where our competition convention was. You're a Marriott Executive Platinum, whatever you want to call it, member. And I booked the room under your name. And I told you, I checked in like I was a celebrity. They were like, Miss Melissa, what can we upgrade you? And I was like, well, I don't know. Could you?
Let's try.
We'd love to give you a free breakfast. Would you like that? And I was like, yes, I would. And the next morning I was like, you know what? My daughter's not dancing until 3:00 today. Is there any way I could get a late checkout? And they're like, absolutely. Would you like to stay another night complimentary? They didn't really
come
do
on,
that.
yeah.
I know. But no, I do think when you have enough points with stuff, which you do through business,
Right.
by the way, that's where it comes from, is business. They want to make you happy.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, so this is where I was going. Pay attention. Does the name Tom Stuker ring a bell? Because this was interesting to me when I saw it. It popped up.
Not at all.
Okay.
But I'm guessing it should.
No, it didn't with me, but he's a 69-year-old car dealership consultant. I don't want a new car. I'm just saying that. He's also United Airlines' most frequent flyer and probably the world's most frequent flyer who doesn't work for an actual airline. He has traveled over 23 million miles
Oh my gosh.
on United alone, flies the airline over 1 million miles per year. United has since named airplanes after him, like he has airplanes named after him. When he reaches certain milestones, United throws him parties, like each 1 million mile that he makes. How does he do this, you ask?
He doesn't have to pay for it.
We missed out. No, he did. So back in the day, many U.S. airlines sold what they called lifetime flight passes.
I've heard about
Have you
this.
heard this?
Yes.
Okay. And this included first class. You could buy economy lifetime and you could buy first class. Well, Smarty Pants Tom here, back in 1990, purchased a lifetime United first class travel pass for how much do you think? Back in 1990, how much did he spend for?
$100,000.
$290,000.
Okay, I was about to say that,
which is a lot
deal.
of it's a lot of money, but
you fly.
since then, yes, he has taken unlimited travel anywhere that he wants. He can go to Europe. He can go to the Seychelles Islands, like some of our friends have done. He can go wherever he wants.
Wow.
For free.
That is crazy.
2019 was his quote-unquote best year. He took 373 flights, covered a distance of 1.46 miles.
Wait, how many flights?
373.
So he averaged more than one a day.
Yeah. He would take connecting flights to places and, yeah. 1.46 million miles, excuse me. That is an average segment length of about 4,000 miles, which is the equivalent to from Chicago to London. Like, this dude is just living on a plane.
Is he working?
If he had paid cash for those tickets, it would have cost him $2.4 million.
Okay, I believe that.
And so people were doing the math. And he said that he once spent 12 days flying straight, without staying in a hotel. So he was just on plane to plane to plane to plane. Now, you ask why he does this. He says at this point it's like a sport, and he does it just for the miles. He likes to collect the miles. You know, we have the American Airlines credit card, which gives us miles.
Right.
Well, he gets so many miles racked up that he redeems them. They're non-flight. He doesn't need them for the flights, right? So he redeems them for, he's gotten hotel suites. He's gotten free cruises, free week-long cruises, gourmet meals, $50,000 worth of Walmart gift cards he's cashed in on. And there was one time that he redeemed miles for an auction to be able to appear in an episode of Seinfeld.
So I'm shocked that they still give him miles.
They have to.
Well, no, because like whenever I get a free flight with American,
okay, they don't give me
miles because you're cashing in miles. Like you don't get the miles from.
Well, but he's not cashing in his miles for the flights. He's cashing in. He's using his miles.
Yeah, but I don't think you get any points. I don't think you get the points if you're using points to pay for them. Which I know it's different. He
doesn't need that because he's traveling a million miles a year.
Right, but if he's not paying anything, why would they reward him?
Because they say that airline loves him. He's their biggest advocate, and anybody that is like a Flier person actually knows his name and knows who he is. And
can you imagine? Like, I hate sitting on an airplane.
They need him for a commercial. Like, you know how they made Subway Jared a celebrity?
Right.
They need Mr. Tom Stuker to be.
You know, the several times that we have flown like on the big plane and actually gotten upgraded to first class.
The awesome international first class, yes.
Yeah, but we don't do it international. It's like going to California.
We've never really gone. Yes, or Vegas, actually.
Yeah, Vegas does it too. But you get that little pod.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Pods are cool.
If he gets that every time he flies, like I can understand it.
Yes.
Because it's almost like you're just hanging out and you have a waiter, a bartender, and you just, it's like being at a restaurant.
He's 69
almost.
years old. I'd be like, I'm retired and I'm just traveling right now.
It makes me sad that he doesn't have a family.
He might have a family. Heck, maybe it's his wife too that can travel. I don't know. It was interesting to me when this pulled up, and I said, well, how fun is that?
I think American or maybe Southwest, maybe Delta. I think Mark Cuban did this at one point.
I don't think they do it anymore.
They don't do it anymore.
Yeah, it's not a smart. Like the articles I was reading, they were like, United loses money on this man.
Oh,
they lose money on him.
$2.5 million.
Right, but again, he's been such an advocate for the airline, and people love following him. Like, then make him like kind of a social celebrity now, like with the way that social media is.
Now, if you had that, what would your schedule be?
I don't even know. I mean, obviously we'd go to the few places I really, really want to go to. But I mean, our summers would be packed. I'd be like, guess what we're doing this summer? Because we can fly for free. So we're going here and here and here. And
it'd still be difficult though, you know? But we still have kids. We still have like we have to find somebody to keep them.
I mean, it's just crazy to think he bought this for less than $300,000, and yet he has saved himself over $2 million.
And that's his lifestyle. Like that's his identity.
He's like Up.
He is.
Clooney.
That's exactly what he's like. But that was
for work.
Yeah, it was for work. And how many miles was his?
I don't know. Listen, if you told me that we had to retire and I had to vacation in a different place every week, I'd be like, okay.
You know what? You wouldn't like that. You would love it for the first 6 months.
Sure, but
and
then
after
anytime
that,
we wanted to travel, we just do it.
Okay, I mean, if you just want to, yeah, right.
Some of our friends last year moved to Puerto Rico.
But my point is that if you're him,
Yeah.
you would get really tired of that. Flying 374 flights in 365 days.
Listen, Krabby Pants, it doesn't sound like Mr. Tom is tired of it.
Yeah, I mean, to each his own.
Okay. You do pop news?
Sure.
I've got some Zeke news.
Yeah.
You'll enjoy that. A little baby reindeer drama
Oh boy.
happening. Have you heard of that?
I've heard of all the sleuths are out there trying to find him.
Oh, they found her.
Oh, they did. Oh, they found her.
They found her.
I guess it's not hard to find him.
And then the story of, did you hear the American,
Of a
there's
lovely
actually
lady?
a couple of them that are being held in Turks and Caicos because they were found with,
Yeah, ammunition.
yeah, we're going to get into that. Okay.
Pop news time.
All right, let's start with you because you're super happy. Well, I don't know if you're happy, but you're interested in it. Zeke,
Yeah.
he's back.
Yeah, he's a cowboy again.
Are you happy about that?
No.
No, okay.
Not at all.
Okay.
I mean, I don't have anything against Zeke. I just don't think he's very good anymore. And that's what we're going to roll with into the season.
Yeah.
You know.
So he was released by the team last March after they were unable to come to an agreement on a rework contract. We talked about that for a while. He was being very stubborn. So Cowboys owner Jerry Jones says he believes that Zeke, who turns 29 in July, I can't believe he looks much older than 29.
Well, he's just been around for a long
Maybe.
time.
He was in New England this last year, and Jerry thinks he's got a lot left in the tank after how he played with the Patriots. So he signed him to a reported 1 year. It says up to $3 million deal.
Yeah.
So I guess he's not necessarily guaranteed.
You get a base and then you get incentives.
Okay.
But I think most of that is, I think he's going to get about $3 million.
Okay. Well, back in 2022, apparently he was the worst starting running back in the entire league. He finished last in the NFL in yards per carry, which was 3.8, tackles avoided, which was 32, and percentage of runs that went for 10 plus yards at 7.
Yeah, and that was 2 years ago. Last
Right.
year was his worst year.
So then why is he running at that? How is there more
It's
gas
almost,
left in the tank?
There's not. There's not.
Okay.
We screwed around and we didn't get any free agents.
Oh.
And then we didn't get anybody in the draft.
Okay.
And so it's like I think it's a publicity stunt. I think that he is saying, oh, no, we got this guy. We're going to be fine. When they're just trying to cover up the fact that we kind of blew it on that.
We don't have anybody.
But we got some other good players. So it's not like we totally blew the whole offseason, but we blew that part of it for sure.
I feel like sometimes you go into the season going, this is it. We got everybody we need.
I felt that
We
way
are
last
in."
year. I do not feel that way this year.
So maybe actually
Yeah,
this
maybe.
will be
I mean-
the year.
We throw the ball most of the time anyway.
You know what I like about Zeke? His cutoff shirts. I
Yeah.
really like that. I don't know why.
I love how he gets 3 yards and he gets up and he does his feed me thing after a 3-yard run. It's like,
You know what I don't like is his, what do they call it? A cow nose ring?
Yeah,
That
that-
ring that goes in between the nostrils. It's a cow?
cow.
I don't like that on
Cow-
anybody.
cow
I
ring?
don't
Cow?
think it's cute.
Yeah.
A little side stud, cute.
Did you ever have a nose ring?
No, you'd know if I did.
Oh, is it always there?
I
guess
I have a scar on my belly button from my belly button ring.
Yeah.
That was a 2000s move. That and the back tat.
Is the
That-
belly
that
button
ages
ring
me.
dead now?
100%.
Nobody does that?
No.
Like not even the high school, college girls?
Not till it comes back around again.
Gotcha.
Yeah. No, that was definitely a 2000s thing. That, the back tat, and the Pamela Anderson barbed wire.
Good Lord, that's a bad one.
Nothing can tell you how old we are if you line us up and go, have her turn around. Let me see the small of her back.
Funny.
Okay, now this is super interesting. Let's talk Baby Reindeer. Because we talked about the show
Right.
last week. So the real life Martha, which is obviously not her real name, she's now set to sue Netflix over this show. Does that shock you?
No, it doesn't shock me at
Yeah.
all. But is there any... Okay, go ahead.
So, given the show's popularity, it's reached number one. It's number one on Netflix.
Yeah.
And this thing came out of nowhere. I remember there's been no advertising. You and I were just looking through and I went, Baby Reindeer? Like, what the heck is that? And then I go on social and everybody's talking about it. Well, obviously, with it being number one and as big as it is, and with us living in the times that we do, internet sleuths are going to try to find out who
Right.
this woman is. Well, they found her. She's not...
Is she in jail?
No. It's weird because her Facebook is now private. I'm not going to say her name because we're not going to get in trouble for her name. But if you want to find it, it's out there, folks. And before she went private, I actually found the account and looked. And she is not dissimilar in looks to what they portrayed on Martha.
Okay.
The way that she types is exactly
Really?
like
Because they have
the grammar is all
It's
off.
awful.
The way that she's just defensive. I mean, you could see where she's arguing with, people are finding her and they're commenting and she's arguing back. And you're reading it like, oh my, like this is
definitely her.
This is the woman. Her.
I wonder if the text in the series
Were
were real.
I don't
It's gotta
know.
be pretty
And
close.
that technically could be something that if she wanted to say, like, those were private, you made them public, put them on a show. Well, so like I said, these sleuths have found who they think she is. The name is out there. Her account has now become private. The woman who has been identified as the real Martha has come forward and said that she's considering legal action against the show for defamation. And she did an interview with the Daily Mail, but she was anonymous. So she did not do the interview as who people are assuming she is based on Facebook. But she has come out. She's a 58-year-old woman, and she is from Scotland. And she said that the show has been, quote, bullying an older woman on television for fame and fortune, and that she has received death threats and abuse from all of the Richard Gadd supporters. Now, Richard Gadd, of course, is the main character. He's the writer, creator of everything. He changed his name in the show, but it's him. She said that she, in this interview, also said that it's actually Richard Gadd who's obsessed with her and perpetuating harassment against her using the show. He said he's using baby Reindeer to stalk me. I'm the victim. These are quotes. He has written a bloody show about me. Now, as she is saying this to Daily Mail, she's also saying, but I'm not the one that everybody thinks it's
good
me,
Lord.
but it's not me. Yet she's also making these claims. So it's like, I don't really...
Yeah, what a beating.
I don't know. Now, the woman in question does share many similarities with her character. They're both Scottish. They're 20 years older than Gadd. They studied law at what they call university overseas. And they do both have a known history of stalking. So this woman that they have found online has been a convicted stalker in the past. They do look alike. Like I said, when I saw them online, I was like, okay, I do see. But
See the similarity.
the woman who did this interview with Daily Mail said that the Martha in the doc kind of looks like her after she put on 4 stones during lockdown, but she's not actually unattractive. So I don't know what 4 stones actually means in Scottish or European language, but she's
Yeah.
basically saying that she is thinner and more attractive than the way that they made her look in the documentary. And again, in this interview that she did, she's revealing that she's planning to pursue legal action against Netflix for billing this series as a true story. This is where I think she could have a case, because she says they are saying it's a true story, which they are, based on a true story. And she's vowed to represent herself because she's a lawyer.
She actually was a lawyer.
She
That's
was a
right.
lawyer, but again, she's saying it's not her. So there's a lot of like, I don't understand. This is her quote. She says, I have a claim against Netflix as this being billed as a part of a true story. People are probably saying that I am a mass murderer. This can't continue. I will kick their blanks. I am a highly competent lawyer. I'd have to do it myself. I'm very good. I have a photogenic memory and can memorize huge files. I was top of my school in everything. End quote. She's also accused Richard of exploiting her story for personal gain. Now, in an Instagram story on April 22nd, Richard Gadd, the creator again, did make a post saying, please stop trying to find the real people. And it is funny to me that people are more interested in finding Martha than they are the male TV executive that was grooming him.
Right.
Like, I would think people would be after him. Because he never went to...
Well, they probably are.
He never did time. He never went to... he's never been held accountable. So I don't know why he would think you can create an entire Netflix series on a show that you say is real life and then assume people are not going to go find these
Yeah, that
people.
seems
I
a little
don't
naive.
understand. Like, that seems really stupid to me. Ending on this, though, the real life Martha, who, again, has never come out and said, I'm the real life Martha, has said that she's ready to tell her side of the story in possibly an upcoming book.
Wow.
She went on X, which is formerly Twitter, and wrote, quote, those wondering about my alleged involvement in that show, all I can say is I have a tell-all book coming out soon. And I'm also going to make my own show detailing my side of events. So
Got to capitalize on it.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, am I stupid to think it's her? I
going to write a book about how it's not me.
If I did it,
Yeah,
O.J.
yeah,
Simpson.
Dumb.
Okay, now let's do this, because
Okay.
this I thought was the Americans facing up to 12 years in prison for bringing bullets to Turks and Caicos.
Right.
So there's several of them right now. The most, I think, recent and the one getting the most notoriety, his name is Ryan Watson. He's 40. He and his wife Valerie were detained upon departure. They were leaving Turks and Caicos, where they had been celebrating. I guess a bunch of friends turned 40 at one time. They had a big, massive party in Turks and Caicos. So they were heading back to the U.S. They were at the Howard Hamilton International Airport in Turks and Caicos, going to Oklahoma, and airport security found 4 rounds of ammunition, quote, unknowingly left in his duffel bag from what he said was a deer hunting trip. Now, of course, everybody's like, well, how do you even get there? He left the U.S.
Yeah, and they didn't catch it
They
there.
did not
Right,
catch
I
it.
heard
The
that.
TSA has confirmed that 4 rounds of ammunition were not detected in a traveler's bag during a security screening at Will Rogers World Airport in Oklahoma City. And they just called it an oversight. They said, we'll work further. It's an oversight. So his wife, Valerie, was detained with him. She was released, and she was able to fly back home to Oklahoma, where they have 2 small children, 7 and 9.
Ugh.
So they're now home dealing with this. But carrying firearms in Turks and Caicos is prohibited, according to the government. Bringing firearms or ammunition, including stray bullets, into the British overseas territory without prior permission is strictly forbidden. And individuals who violate it face a minimum of 12 years in prison.
That's crazy. And not even a gun, just
Minimum.
the ammunition.
Just the ammunition. So he ended up, this Ryan Watson ended up posting $15,000 bail after he spent 2 days in jail. He was released on April 24th, but he had to surrender his passport. He's not
Yeah, you
allowed to
can't
leave
leave.
Turks and Caicos. He has to check in every Tuesday and Thursday with the government that he's still there. And then in June, he will have a new court date of what's actually going to happen
how does he
to him.
stay there? Like, is he just go rent a house?
I think I
or-
read he's in an Airbnb somewhere. Yeah. So it's not like something has happened in the last month where people are traveling to Turks and Caicos with bullets, because
Well, I think it's just an accident.
it is. So, but it's weird that like there's 3 of them within weeks of each other, right? Because there's another one, Brian, his name is Hagerich. He was detained in Turks and Caicos, held for 81 days now on ammunition that was found in his bag that he said accidentally was left from a hunting trip that he went on.
Which I can totally understand how that happens. You know, like they took that bag hunting. It was in a side pocket or something, and they just forgot.
Well, he was a former baseball player. He was actually in Turks with his entire family, his wife and 2 kids who were 4 and 6. They, of course, left, and he's been there now for 80 plus days. His court date, I believe, is today. And so what happens to him is probably what these guys have to look forward to. And there's another one, Tyler Wenrick. He's 31. He's a paramedic, and he was on a Royal Caribbean. He just stopped at Turks and Caicos just for the day, got off the ship. And when he went to get back on, they found 2 rounds in the bottom corner of his backpack and took him into custody. And he's been there ever since, too. Here's my thought. Don't go on a hunting trip and use that as your everyday travel bag. Have a hunting bag.
Well, yeah.
Right?
I mean, hindsight, right?
Like the backpack you travel with.
Yeah, no, I get it. I mean,
I'm not blaming them. I just 12 years is.
I bet you that they didn't even know that
They
that
didn't.
was.
That's what they're saying. I had no idea that
it was there, but I bet you they didn't know that that was a law either.
No. I mean, I guess going overseas, the only time I've ever been overseas was on The Bachelor. We've talked about this. And I had roses. I had the roses that I had gotten in my bag, and I got stuck in Australia. Like a dog came and found me, and I got in trouble for that. Like anytime you go overseas, they are very. Remember when we got off the plane with the kids? I had a sandwich taken away from me.
Yeah.
He looked through my bag and took a sandwich.
They don't like food either.
They don't like anything.
Food, flowers.
But the fact that these guys, who are all really young, everybody's under 40, they've all got young families that are potentially facing 12 years. That's a case where I'm like, I don't think the punishment fits the crime, because I don't think they were setting out to do anything. Like, I don't think that they were packing guns to shoot up things in Turks.
Right, no,
I think
not
it
at
was
all.
literally a complete
Well, there wasn't enough
oversight.
ammunition for anything like that anyway.
Just horrible, though.
Yeah, it's awful.
Horrible.
Getting locked up abroad Bad deal.
Remember that show that we used to watch?
Yeah. Bad deal.
Bad deal.
But most of those were like not accidents. They were people that were trying to smuggle drugs or do something illegal.
Sure. But
This
look
is
at
a-
Brittany Griner. I mean, they don't care.
Yeah,
they
they don't
don't care. A rule is a rule, and you break the rule, and you pay the price. Speaking of rules that people broke and paid the price, ABC News meteorologist Rob Marciano.
Yeah.
Heard about this. 55. He's been fired after nearly a decade over at ABC. Now, I met him actually on ET. Remember Entertainment Tonight? When I was doing a bunch of
is
stuff
that
on
right?
Entertainment Tonight,
Yeah.
he was working over at Entertainment Tonight. So I met him
Long time
15,
ago,
20 years ago over there. Yeah. Well, it has come out that he was fired this week after he got into a heated screaming match with one of the producers of Good Morning America. And following, I guess, this most recent outburst, which looking at reports, it has happened.
Yeah, it must have happened a bunch.
It's happened quite a bit. Ginger Z, who was their chief meteorologist, overheard the story and went to the heads and said, listen, this has got to stop. This is not okay. Sources say that given the history of past complaints about his behavior, they decided this was the last straw and they told him to leave. Now, they've also said that Marciano and Ginger have clashed for several years. Like ever since he came to the network to do weather, like the two of them just butted heads and did not get along. But that's not enough to get him
fired.
fired.
Just because he doesn't,
Yeah. So he joined ABC News, in 2014, and he had previously been banned from the Good Morning America studios back in 2022 over, quote, anger management issues. And I do remember him leaving for a while, and he's like, oh, I'm not going to be the weekend anchor. And I never thought anything of it. I was like, oh, it must be a schedule thing. But apparently he had been taken off by...
Yeah, because it's been like
quiet.
a year since he's done anything.
Everything was
right?
quiet.
Yeah.
Nothing had really come out about it. And there are reports that he made other female colleagues feel uncomfortable the way that he was talking to them. He was going through a divorce at the time, and he was apparently a little over generous with sharing information about the divorce. I don't know what it was, but there are women that have come forward and said that they were uncomfortable with him. So, Rob's out.
Yeah.
That's bad. That's a bad gig to lose.
Yeah, no kidding.
I don't mean a bad gig. I mean a bad gig to lose.
And what makes you think it's okay to like just outburst at other employees?
I think when you think you're high enough that
but like
I'm
he's
in
not
charge.
even an anchor.
I'm in charge.
It's silly.
Yeah, I think that's sometimes where like on-air talent can sometimes think that I'm ahead of
Looking
production.
a little big for my britches.
When in turn, it's like, you have nothing without production. Just so you know, there are writers writing your story. There are producers putting you on the air. Like, you technically are below them. Now, you're the face of it, for sure. But don't think you can do it.
It does
without
create
them.
a weird dynamic, for sure.
What's that?
That he's the face, although he doesn't, like, they need him because he is the face.
They all need each other.
They developed
is the
this.
thing. Yeah. You have to have a good relationship with the people behind the scenes, or...
Yeah, and he probably when he first started, he was, like such a good employee, and he never did anything like that. And then he, as he gets more comfortable, and it's a little ego on him.
So bye-bye. ABC's losing people.
Goodness.
All right, let's do some reality. Finish this up.
You got it.
Okay.
Reality Roundup.
So I do have to say that I cheated on you.
Uh-oh.
And I watched...
Never good.
Well, it was on the other day. It wasn't on. I put it on. Sorry.
It was on because I went to Netflix and selected it.
No, it's on Max. It's the Jinx Part 2. Remember how we had talked about that and we started it? It's awesome.
Really? So,
It's
okay.
awesome.
So we need
And-
to finish the first one.
Yes, and I didn't even finish rewatch. We started the first one, and
We only have one episode left.
the second one, or this Jinx 2 is only 2 episodes as well.
Okay.
It's really good, though, because what it does is it captures him. They talk about the first documentary openly. They're like, we're filming the first documentary. He says this to us, and they immediately go to the police, like before it's even aired, before anything. And so then they start describing what happens between when Robert did this interview where he said he killed them all to when it airs to when he's arrested. And then they have his jail interviews where he's talking to people. It's fascinating.
Okay.
They have friends that have stood by his side the entire time that eventually have to, they did. And then they eventually were like, I can't.
Yeah, you did it, dude.
I got to turn. Well, they knew he did it was the thing. They knew he did, and they were helping him cover it up. They have friends that were like cleaning his apartment when he left, that
Gotcha.
kind of stuff. that finally were like, I can't do it anymore.
Can't do it anymore.
It's fascinating, though. You have to.
Okay,
I'll
I'll catch
rewatch
up.
it with you. Also, back out is Selling the OC on Netflix, which we never really got
Well, we
into
didn't get into that because that's the same people as Selling
Oppenheimer.
Sunset, right? But,
Yeah.
But the OC part. Yeah, no, I never watched the
Yeah,
first.
well, it's season 3. Which,
Is it?
How have we missed
Yeah.
2 seasons of the show? From what I've read, though, it's the best season
Oh, really?
so far. So
I
I'm
like shows like that.
I wonder if we can get in on episode 3 or
let's just
season
start at
3
1.
and then
Give us something to binge.
Well, it's all 8 episodes. They're already out on Netflix. They're not doing the whole one a week
Oh, good.
kind of a thing. So it's all out there. And then there's this show that I found on Hulu. It's called The Contestant. And here is the trailer. Now, I will say some of it is in English and some of it is in Japanese.
Okay.
So just stay with it.
If you put what we're about to show you in a movie, I doubt anybody would believe it.
本当にテレビの神様がいるとしたら、これ悪魔じゃないですか。
Dan Persona was the most popular show in Japan at the time.
The challenge is to see whether someone can survive on competition prizes alone.
He has no food, no clothes.
He doesn't even know he's on television.
アイデアを思いついた時は、やっぱ自分で俺天才だなと思いましたよ。
Every week, more than 30 million people tune in.
Reality TV was not yet a thing. The Truman Show didn't come out till later the same year. They had to cover up his genitalia with something. Nasubi's name means eggplant. That's probably where it all started.
間違いとか間違いじゃないとか、まあ囚われたことはやむを得ないというか。
私から言えばやらされてるっていう。
Being alienated for this long makes you long for human warmth. For months, my life has just been a struggle between sanity and madness.
I think it's a rather grotesque program.
When he goes crazy, it's sure to be on TV.
うわ、取れた。すげえ取れた。終わりですか。
Okay, so yeah, I don't know if you could get the entire premise, but you heard one guy in Japanese speaking a lot. He's the creator of the show. Still very excited about his idea, not backing down. So if you didn't get it, it's called The Contestant. It's it's a true story, which is shocking to me, of a man who lived for 15 months trapped in a small room. He was naked, he was starving, he was alone, and he was completely unaware that his life was being broadcast on national television in Japan to over 15 million viewers a week.
What?
You didn't get that from did you? So it was before shows like Survivor, Big Brother, Naked and Afraid, all of that, before they became popular in America. Because everything I feel like it becomes popular overseas. There was this Japanese reality TV show called Susunoo, and it was known for placing participants in extreme situations. Now, the most infamous challenge was this one that we saw. It was in 1998, and it translated to A Life of Prizes, and it made a star out of, his name is Tomako Hatsu. He's an aspiring comedian who is nicknamed Nasubi, who for more than a year lived alone and unclothed in a tiny apartment while surviving off of magazine sweepstakes winnings. And so that was kind of when he thought the shtick was, can I live off of this for a year? And he's you can see him kind of starting to lose his mind, and he's playing to he knows there's a camera there, absolutely, and he knows he's being filmed. He has no idea that it's live, has no idea that people are watching. It's like Truman Show.
Okay.
You remember that show with Jim Carrey?
I never saw it, but I know what you're talking about.
Yes, exact same thing where he's living in a bubble and had no idea he was living in a bubble. So this documentary on Hulu uses the footage from the actual show, news segments, interviews with him himself, and the producer who you heard in the clip where he's like, oh, it was a great idea. Oh, I love that we did that. And how it impacted his life. So it just looked super interesting because I went, wow. Wow. Could you imagine them doing that here?
No.
Or for 15, like what was I want to know what he thought the outcome would be. Like how much money am I getting by doing this for 15 months?
Yeah. And like at some point, aren't you just like, no, I quit. I want out.
I'm done. Yeah. I would like some food and I would like to see my family. And
there must have been some contract or something.
I don't know.
Maybe.
But I would like to watch that. Hulu. This one is for the kids. It's Knuckles on Paramount. Plus.
Is this Sonic?
Yes.
Okay.
How fun is that? So here's the synopsis. While struggling to adjust to life on Earth, Knuckles, he takes on Deputy Sheriff Wade Whipple as his apprentice, training him in ways of the, Echinda? I don't know. Warrior to help him prepare for a bowling tournament in Reno, where his estranged father will be competing. During the journey, Wade is reunited with his mother and sister, while Knuckles is pursued by a former agent of Dr. Robotnik, who now seeks to take power for himself.
Okay.
I think it looks cute. I think it's like it's a 6-episode little show.
Okay.
Great. And the last thing I want to see, Them, the Scare on Amazon Prime. It's apparently like they had a Them a year ago. This is another Them series. But this one apparently, it's got like 100% on Rotten Tomatoes, which you never see things. It's a scary film. It's a horror.
It's a movie?
It's a movie.
Okay.
It centers on LAPD homicide detective Don Reeve, who's assigned to a new case, the gruesome murder of a foster home mother that has left even the most hardened detectives shaken. Navigating a tumultuous time in Los Angeles with a city on razor's edge of chaos, Don is determined to stop the killer. I'd like to see it. 100%, like I said, on Rotten Tomatoes.
Anything is 100%.
Right.
Like, it must be pretty good.
So that's Them, the Scare on Amazon Prime. So
Awesome.
we have some
So we got
stuff
plenty of stuff to watch.
to catch up on between
Good.
our Valley Summer House.
Yeah.
Vanderpup's almost done.
I can't believe that's already over.
Shocking.
It's crazy.
Did you hear they're not airing or they're not filming this summer? They're taking the summer off.
Vanderpump?
Mhm.
Do they normally?
They film in the summertime, yeah. Probably because now Ariana is the host of Love Island.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Love Island.
And they need her for that. But also, I think they need some life to happen. I think they're like, it's been Sandoval stuff this whole time. Let's let 4 months of like stuff
See
happen.
what happens.
Right? And then we'll pick back
They better
up.
be ready to jump in if something happens.
I don't know. Okay, well, that's it, babe.
Okay.
I guess I'm going to go pick up our daughter after her false alarm fire
Yeah.
has scarred her for the day.
So dramatic.
So dramatic. Everybody, make sure you like, rate, review, subscribe, all that stuff to the podcast. Go to the Facebook page like that. And we be back
Same time?
next week.
Next week.
Same
time.
Same place.
Over and out.
Losing it.